Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Another exciting video coming your way. What we are going to be doing is reintroducing two fishing reels that were absolutely spectacular in every regard. And I used them earlier on whenever I first started my MDLR Fishing channel. What I'm talking about are these fellas right here. Check out these golden beauties, the Shimano Calcutta Conquest 100. These guys are absolutely beautiful. So the main reason why these guys were benched was because I was sponsored by Luz, and since I parted ways with them, I'm going back to everything that I was using before that sponsorship. So these guys are going to get back out there in the game. I've got two rods behind me. I was saving these fellas right here for two brand new reels that I want to get in the future, the Shimano Aldebaran, and those are like super ultra lightweight 4-ounce fishing reels. But why wait, right? I mean, I've got these. I need more setups to go out there to tackle the salt. These guys, if you are familiar with the beginnings of my channel, whenever I moved home after retiring from the Marines, these fellas caught so many big fish, mainly reds, and we're talking upper slot donkeys here on the Texas Gulf Coast. And I'm looking forward to placing them back in service. This right here is the Arius rod from Old 18 Outfitters, the MDLR edition. Let's see if we can focus in on that right there. But yeah, it's got my logo on there from the fishing channel. We've got ultralights, 7 foot long. It's the original thing that I started out with whenever I wanted an ultralight rod to be able to zing tiny little 1/8 ounce lures from Bugs Fishing. And this is the culmination of so many hours on the water. Partnering up with Old 18 has been nothing short of amazing, and I absolutely love the rod that they have built for me based off of everything that I asked for. And these are the specs right here, and just a great rod overall. But let's not take the limelight away from the Conquest 100. Let's talk a little bit about them. I know I've done a fishing reel review on my main channel, but I don't think I really talked about the specs too much. These guys, I think it's 12 plus 1 ball bearings. I mean, you've got bearings all over the place in the knobs. I mean, it'll just go on spinning forever. All those ball bearings just equate to ultra smooth performance. They're made in Japan, so unlike some of the others that are made in Malaysia and elsewhere, these guys are 100% made in Japan. The weight, that's something that is going to take some getting used to, because the Luz was around like 5 ounces in weight. This is 2.5 ounces extra, so it's something that I'm going to have to get used to. Also, the shape, it being a round baitcaster reel, not the ultra low profile, which is something that I claimed in comparison to what I was using at the time. These right here, this is just a regular Shimano Calcutta. It's not the Calcutta Conquest, which this is the Calcutta Conquest. You can see how much smaller for this being a 100 sized reel. This is a 200. I don't think I own, no. Yeah, this is the 200, but this right here is what I used to use. In comparison to this, you can see the size difference. So that's why I used to say with these, whenever I did my review, that it is ultra small. I can palm it and I can use it with all day comfort. That's gonna take a little getting used to again. Coming from a very low profile reel that was super lightweight, in comparison to this, it's gonna, again, take some time to get used to, but I'm up to the task, and it just means that I'm gonna have to start you know, getting my wrist back in shape. That sounds very suggestive, but yeah, I'm very excited to start using this guy. I want to say like 3 years of use before they got the bench, and man, did they perform phenomenally. Just minimal maintenance is what I've done. I probably open them up once a year, and that was it. Just for like a really deep cleaning, and then putting some more Shimano grease on the main drive. Also putting a little bit of grease on the carbon washers. That's the only upgrade that I've done to this. I still got the same handle, the same knobs. Everything is exactly the same. And then also they're inside here on the side plate for the braking system, 1 drop of oil like maybe once a week, so that I can keep that guy functioning smooth. And that is it. That's all that goes into it. The entire frame is aluminum, very rugged, very durable, and the tolerances are so tight that that's what you can expect from Shimano. This right here, I want to say, is the pinnacle of ruggedness, durability, ultra smooth, buttery smooth drag, and this reel will just perform. Freshwater, saltwater, it does not matter. It's going to perform. It will take care of you. It has never failed me since being out there on the water and putting it in the harsh, corrosive saltwater environment. 3 years of faithful use without like dying or upsetting me. I think it's time to put them right back on the rods. How much drag does it have? 9 pounds of drag. I think there are some websites out there that rated it whenever they did the testing. It like peaked out at about 11 pounds, somewhere around there. But I mean, that's more than enough drag. I'm one for whenever a fishing reel company tries to boast like, oh, 25 pounds of drag. And it's like, seriously, man, do you realize how much 25 pounds of drag is? This right here is capable of stopping big fish. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of drag to put that force on the fish before they, you know, tucker themselves out, and then you bring them in. I've caught jack crevalles in our Texas waters, and this guy will put the brakes on them, and it's gonna do it just magnificently. Never, not once, have I ever felt like, oh, my drag is glitchy. It has to reach a certain threshold before the drag starts to give way. It does it just so smoothly, like a hot knife going through butter. I could use all the cliches I want to, but this guy was just phenomenal out there. And like I said, it is now time to put them back into service. I'm excited to finally get them back into use. Let's pair them up to these brand new fishing rods. If you're interested in Old 18 rods, they are a sponsor to the channel, and I don't earn a commission or anything like that for each unit sold. But if you're interested in what I'm using, all the rods behind me on my wall for the most part are Old 18, with exception to 2 of my deep sea rods because they haven't gotten to that market yet. But everything that I use is Old 18. It's a phenomenal maker. Y'all have heard me talk about them before in the past, saying that they are a veteran-owned company and they're sourced here. They're based here in Texas, out of a small little city called Magnolia, and they make high-quality products. They're all made by hand. They use the finest materials. These are titanium guides. Each bait caster has 12 of them. And I mean, it's just an ultra lightweight rod. I believe the last time whenever I weighed it, it was like right at 3 ounces or sub 3 ounces for the rod here. You know what, let's just do a quick test. And I will show y'all how much they weigh, because I did bring in the scale I wanted to weigh the Conquest and compare it to the custom light that I was using, and that's how I figured we're working with 7.6 ounces. With fishing line, it's 7.9 ounces. And so that 7.6, basically, oh wait, what happened? The 7.6 is without fishing line. You know what, I gotta put this down. Here, let's put this down right here. Let me get the camera and I'm gonna face it downward so that y'all can see just how light these guys are. Doing some scientific work. All right, so what we're gonna do is place the rod on there, and I am gonna try to hold it steady just so that it does not fall down. So around 2.93 ounces, somewhere around there. So yeah, these are phenomenal rods. They're ultra premium quality, and I absolutely love using them. It's what will be able to get the job done for me whenever you're trying to cast such light lures out there to them redfish, whenever you're going like sight casting and you see a school of reds and you just want to present them with the tiny little lures so that when it hits the water it's not going to make a big splash and spook them. These rods will allow you to do that. Very hard to go out there on the market, try to find a website or a maker who is going to build and mass produce an ultralight casting rod. I couldn't find it from all the big makers here in Texas, plus the big box stores, to include Shimano. Everybody kept pointing me towards the fly fishing rods, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do what I'm trying to do, or what I was trying to accomplish was kind of like fly fishing, but in a conventional manner. So that's why these things were born, and yeah, I can't talk highly enough about these guys. The fishing line that we have mounted on here, the same stuff that I was using back then, it's 10-pound Power Pro. That's the happy medium to being able to get a very long cast out there to present that lure to the fish. I don't use straight braid. We do throw on a fluorocarbon leader, and that's because of the oyster, because when braid is under tension from a fish, and we're fishing around oyster here on the Texas Gulf Coast a lot, you tend to get cut off a lot. So you have to use something that's got some abrasion resistance, and that's what the fluorocarbon does for me. So that right there helps to like avoid you losing lures and fish altogether. So 10-pound Power Pro, perfect. It's nothing fancy. There's a lot more fishing lines out there, braid, that is fancier. But I've made do with Power Pro, and I find myself, after trying another brand, I came back to Power Pro because it just wasn't up to the task on being able to ensure that if I backlash, my lure is going to come back to me, because let's face it, we all make mistakes whenever we're casting out there, and Power Pro, that's what gets the nod. Or, okay, so what's the saying? I run out of, okay, so Power Pro is what gets it done for me, and I find myself always going back to them. All right, so yeah, that is gonna do it. We got these twin sisters back into action. Everything is exactly the same on both of them, and might I add that they are super, super sexy looking. Whenever that sun hits them, is just like a diamond on somebody's finger, and wow, it just gets your attention. Plus, I know that I'm not going to have any issues whatsoever whenever it comes to casting. I don't have to worry about fumbling around with anything. It's just like riding a bike. The way I left these fishing reels tuned is the way that I'm going to pick them back up, and I'm, pretty excited to start sporting them in the very near future. So y'all be looking out for them. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next time when we're off the water.